We now have a more complete picture of the events that led to a deadly shooting on the side of a busy Valley freeway at the end of May. The person who fired the shots was a DPS trooper.
And the person who was killed was an African-American man, and this incident fueled some of the protests we saw in the Phoenix area a couple of months ago. And right now, our chief investigative reporter, Morgan Lowe, joins us. And Morgan, it appears in this situation, it was the law enforcement officer who appeared to fear for his life.
Yeah, Heather, the Phoenix Police Department released a 160-page report on this incident this afternoon, and it answers some questions and clears up some of the gaps related to this incident. But in the end, it appears that the shooting victim was high on drugs, had a firearm in his possession, and fought with a DPS officer on the side of a busy freeway. This is police body cam video of the aftermath of a shooting on the side of the 101 in North Phoenix on the morning of May 25th. The blurred video conceals what was happening on the ground as paramedics worked to save the life of 28-year-old Dion Johnson. But it's what took place over 4 minutes' time, just a few minutes before this, that has been at issue. There was no video of the actual shooting. But now this police report contains a description of what happened from the DPS trooper who pulled the trigger that morning.
All right, 733.
Is there units in the area of eastbound 101, Tatum on-ramp? I have an individual passed out behind the wheel, partially blocking the on-ramp.
The call came into dispatch, referring to a car pulled over on the 101. According to the statement from Trooper George Cervantes, Johnson was passed out at the wheel. Cervantes noticed a strong odor of alcohol and observed beer cans inside the passenger compartment. He observed the key was in the ignition and a large frame semi-automatic handgun was on the passenger seat. Cervantes told investigators he removed the gun but could not get the key out of the ignition. Over the next minutes, motorists began calling 911.
DPS 911, where's your emergency?
On the 101. There is an officer alone in a motorcycle that is having difficulty with a passenger.
Saying Cervantes was struggling with the driver of the car.
Yeah, he definitely needs help.
Cervantes was immediately able to handcuff Johnson's left wrist, but Johnson pulled away and turned his body to brace his back against the center console. His right hand was reaching onto the front passenger seat, where the handgun had previously been located. Johnson grabbed Trooper Cervantes' right wrist, pulled on the outer vest carrier, used his feet as leverage to pull Trooper Cervantes toward him and into the vehicle. That's when Cervantes says he opened fire.
733-998, shots fired, start fire.
Dion Johnson was just 28 years old, but he was a convicted felon who had spent time in prison for theft, armed robbery, and aggravated assault. Police say they found cans of beer and an empty tequila bottle in the car. And the autopsy shows he had meth, fentanyl, and THC in his system. The Phoenix Police Department forwarded this report to the county attorney's office for review, but they made no recommendation for or against charging Trooper Cervantes. Dion Johnson's family is set to hold a news conference tomorrow. We reached out to their attorney today for any comment. We got no response. Heather, Chris, back to you guys.
Well, Morgan, we've heard a lot in the past couple of months about the need for police to de-escalate these very situations here. And do you have any idea why in this case that DPS trooper didn't wait for backup?
Yes, Cervantes told investigators that that was his plan initially, but he was not able to get the key out of the ignition. He said he stood back and was going to wait for backup, but then he said that he noticed Johnson waking up. He was worried that Johnson was going to take off and go into traffic and put other motorists at risk, and that is why he went to try to take him into custody on his own.
A solid reporting tonight, Morgan Lowe. Thank you very much.